the the vehicle, the tools that I I don't know if it's used, but it's part of me. It's these lessons that I had when I was a child, and I have many practice that I do. But the brushes is one of the vehicles, and the first brush that I received from my father was this a brush that was my great-grandfather had made almost 120 years ago. And this is the first brush that I received when I was about 6 years old. And more I grew older and more I learned to be adult, I think my intellect, the appetite of the intellect became very acute. And one day I asked my father that, when I was in college, I asked him, what is this hair made from? And I think he was very upset that I asked these kind of questions. So he turned around and just sort of left me. But again, I wanted to know what this was. And I took it to a friend who was a zoologist. And a couple of weeks later, I went back and he told me this hair was made from elephant. And he said, do you know what part of the hair that this was? And I said, well, the only place I kind of, conjure up is that it's tail. He says, no. The tail is very rough and it's not like this, it's soft. And I tried different areas like its head or even its chin. He says, no. And then finally I give up and he told me this hair is probably from the inside of the elephant's ear, where it's very soft. He think it is, but he says it's probably it. So this is an elephant that probably my great-grandfather had traveled to India and probably found a dead elephant and took something back and brought it back and kept the spirit alive, back. And this is the 4th generation that is handed down to me, and I'll probably give this to my children as well. This I use a lot, and this is Siberian wolf hair, and it was given to me by a priest who I grew up with. And one day he sent me, he was in Siberia, I guess, and he found a dead wolf, and he cut his hair, and he sent me this, and I took it to a brush maker and had this made. But I told him it was very special, so the brush maker, lacquerified it and gold-leafed it and made it to, like almost like a imperial treasure. And I really, I use this a lot. And again, holding the brush and all these techniques were very fundamental in my early part of my life. And the teaching was that this is not an object apart from you, but this is your hand. I mean, this is not a brush, but it is your hand, and it is your heart. So the ink and the paper need to become oneness with each other. And that is the teaching of all the traditions of Japan, not just calligraphy, but in terms of archery and calligraphy, tea ceremony, and so on. This my grandfather taught me was to have the straight vertical line, not just this piece of brush, but the vertebrae inside of your body had to be straight. So I remember sitting, really straight as possible and creating Chinese character. And that's when these Chinese characters becomes very pure, because when you have a very straight vertical and breathing become very subtle, and so therefore your calligraphy becomes as pure as entire everything that is involved. I used let's see, the whale, and maybe a circle like this. And that would be my gesture of ending this piece. This is nice. This one is a bird, but it's a tail. But A is written like that. It's the first letter of the alphabet in Japanese, represents the beginning, and the Un is the last alphabet, like Z, and represents the last breathing of the man. And I made this, and this is rice straw that I grew, and the rice for the Chinese character is written like that, and also means America. This one is made from wild boar that my uncle caught, and we ate it. But this is a hare, and the oxen, when you write like that, wild boar, and it means house. And these are all my brushes. Yeah, I think, if I did a calligraphy, it is not me who's doing it, but it is a brush maker, it is a paper maker, the ink maker, and the person who taught me for centuries. 800-year-old lineage have big, I am still continue to practice it. And it's like my father telling me, it's like 5, 6 generations from me, there's someone is able to hold the bow correctly, or even the brush, or draw something correctly. So it's a continuous kind of a interdependency. Almost daily basis, I use it because it's a part of meditation. I mean, I became a habit of doing it. I want to keep it kind of in the discipline. I don't want to stop. If I stop, it's like not doing exercise or something. But I want to keep it going. I think ink and all that is very important for me. This one is used a lot. Now it's kind of darkened. And this is cleaned recently. When I take this to a brush cleaner, they would put this into ash, not carbon, but ash. They would burn straw, rice straw, and they burn it, and then the residue is very, very white, and they would stick that in there and take all the oil out, suck all the oil out, and then they put it in water, cold water, from the well, and they keep washing it, and they use their mouth to suck all the ink from here. They just suck it, and so they got it. The cleaners have the big, incredibly black, and then they brush they suck it, physically, and then it'll be clean like this. But now, since I use so much that this tip it's broken, most of them. So they would say, okay, I think you need to sharpen them. So I would go to another brush maker and then ask him to sharpen this. It's like sharpening pencil. So when I take it them, I said, well, I think we better do the entire sharpening. And he would say, okay, you lay all shark skin. Different sharks have different skin. So they probably have 10 different shark skin laid on this table. And they would go like this. And they would go like that. And they would like this. And, maybe half an hour doing that. And it would be sharpened. And that's what this is. And that's how they clean brushes. And it comes out like brand new. What do you think about that?